Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled.
I'm Batman.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Wonder Woman! Wonder Woman!
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
I'm Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Loch Shiel. I am immortal.
I'm Captain Kirk.
I'm a doctor. But probably not the one you expect.
Welcome everyone to this special Geek This Week presentation. This is the second of 9 panels from the 2016 Fanboy Expo from Knoxville, Tennessee. And this is the Dean Cain panel. Dean Cain, better known as Clark Kent, aka Superman from Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. He's also had guest roles in Smallville, Law and Order SVU. He's been in such movies as Vendetta with The Big Show, and he is currently playing Jeremiah Danvers, Kara Danvers, aka Supergirl's adoptive father on Supergirl. So please sit back and enjoy this special presentation of the Dean Cain panel from Fanboy Expo 2016 in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Who's ready to see the man, the legend himself, Mr. Dean Cain? Who's ready? Sounds like you're more ready for that than you are feeling good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I still get goosebumps when I hear this. Put your hands together, make a big loud round of sound as I bring to the stage Mr. Dean Cain!
Can I talk on this one? This one? I'll go for the middle. Good morning, everybody. It is morning, right? Okay. Just making sure. How's everybody doing?
Great.
All right. Thanks for having me here in lovely Knoxville, Tennessee. Honestly, first time I've ever been to Knoxville. Been in Tennessee an awful lot, but not Knoxville. So, haven't seen anything at all because I got in last night. Because I saw this great farmer's market out here. Does that happen like every Saturday? Y'all are lucky. That's all right. Hello, Superman. How you doing today? You look fantastic. You got bigger muscles than I ever had. It's a little. I understand it's a little uncomfortable sometimes. You and I have to talk. But you have your glasses on and your Superman suit. Now you're Superman. There you go. You're confusing the characters there, buddy. I see a couple other Supermen over there. There's a nice looking Superman there. How you doing, bud? There's an older one and a younger one. And they're not related. How you doing, sir? Nice to see you, sir. Pleasure. Well, I'm happy to be here. The Comic-Cons are a lot of fun, especially for guys. You know, when we're shooting the show, we don't see anybody. You know, there's 50 of us on the set, and we work real hard, and then as soon as they say, okay, and that's a wrap, everybody scatters like cockroaches and goes home. And you never get feedback, you don't get to hear anybody talk about, you know, your show or how something might have affected them or something like that. So it's really nice to be able to get out here and interact with everybody and hear stories and hear people say, you know, I like Christopher Reeve better than you. And I say, I did too. But it's really nice to get to interact with everybody. So you tell me, my friend, how you want to run this. Does anyone open up for questions? You want to...
That's it. I'm here for you guys. When you have a question, raise your hand. I'll be coming over to you.
All right, so if anybody has any questions, except for Captain America, because he's,
First question down here.
he's like 2.
Hello, Mr. Cain. My name is Michael Palmer from Outlaw Renegade Nation, and 2 kind of questions. First off, who was your favorite Superman, and what do you think of the newest Superman? And since you're friends with Kevin Smith, when is he going to write you a part in one of his movies?
All right, let's start with the Kevin Smith thing. He should start writing me a part in the movie right now. Let's get on that, Kevin, please. Thank you. My favorite Superman of all time was Christopher Reeve. I think, he was the first guy that I ever saw play the role. I believed a man could fly, even though he's not really a man, let's be honest. He's a Kryptonian. I thought it was amazing, and that was the way I based my Superman character on the way Christopher Reeve played Superman. Because he was my Superman, and that was everything to me, and that was the way I saw Superman. The way we did Lois and Clark, though, was different because Clark was the main character, and Clark used the Superman disguise so they could have a regular life. That's where we were different. So Christopher Reeve, number 1. Henry Cavill does a great job as the new Superman, but the whole incarnation is so dark and so different than anything. If they say the S means hope, really? In that movie? I don't know. And so it's a pretty dark incarnation. And Zach listen, he's a fantastic filmmaker. It's just not my favorite incarnation of Superman. I do admit, having watched Batman and Superman, I do admit to maybe dozing off once or twice. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I did. I dozed a little bit because I knew the characters. I didn't, it was a really comfortable seat, and it went on for like 3 days. So I didn't enjoy that film as much as maybe some of the others. I thought it was a good film, but it's a different incarnation. Henry does a nice job. But to get back to it again, Christopher Reeve, certainly the best.
And also, Kevin was already the other Superman in one of his movies as well.
Which others? What did he do? What did Kevin do?
Zach and Jerry make a porno. The guy who plays Superman is Superman Returns.
But no, Brandon Routh. But he didn't put Brandon in as Superman, though.
No, but he put it in a movie. He's not going to put you in a movie.
Hold on a second. What the heck? There we go. It's Kevin. TV series, question mark. Thank you.
Next question back here.
Since Jeremiah Danvers is obviously going to be in more episodes of next season's Supergirl, what would be the chances of you getting Terry Hatcher on there with you during the scene?
Well, Jeremiah is definitely going to be on Supergirl. First of all, you're a vet. You in Iraq. You fought in Iraq, sir. Thank you very much. Much appreciate your service. It's good to be up here playing a superhero, but in real life, I tip my hat to you guys. So thank you. So Jeremiah Danvers is going to be in some more Supergirl for sure. If they paid me extra to bring Terry Hatcher in, I would try really hard to get her there. But they don't listen to what I have to say when it comes to that, for sure. But Supergirl changed networks from CBS to CW, and they've moved shooting locations from Warner Brothers, where we shot Lois and Clark, up there with Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. So they're going to be up there with that whole same group. It's all the same producers anyway, and they've done a really nice job of bringing in former Supergirls and Superman and things like that. So they're bringing in Linda Carter to play the president. I think there's probably a decent chance they've reached out to Terry Hatcher, and so hopefully they'll work something out.
Will you be in the 4 part that they're supposed to be doing later with all 4 episodes?
For all, well, you never know. There could be one really good guy or a bad guy. I don't even know if I'm a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know anything. Let's call Greg Berlanti now.
Got next question right over here.
My name is Eugene Cooper, and I live in Knoxville. And I want to know how you like working with Big Show, WWE.
Well, Eugene, if anybody saw that, it's a movie called Vendetta, and Big Show is thank you for that. Hey, Michael, how are you? Big Show is really big. At the risk of being completely redundant, I mean, the man is gigantic. He's 7'4" something. I mean, he's just a big, big man. He's so big that you look at him, you're like, man, he's big. And then you leave, or he gets up to go to the bathroom, comes back, and he comes back, and you go, man, he's so big. It happens. And then when you have to fight it, we got together to start the movie, and the first thing they said is, okay, you guys are going to fight each other. And I was like, excuse me. I was just so shocked. I was like, yeah, if I had my super suit on or something like that, I could be right. I was like, oh, it's not here. It's trouble. So I was like, how am I going to, I can't fight him. I have to like injure him somehow. So the very first fight we finally got into, I've already shot him in the leg and beat him with a big pipe. And he still destroyed me. So he's, as big a man as he is, he's actually a really gentle man. Sweetheart of a guy. Of course, when he raises his voice and he gets very deep, you shake a little bit. Might be a little piddle there. I don't know. But he's a really fantastic actor, you know. And for a guy his size, he's going to have a great career because he's so unique and so unique looking. You'll always have a place, you know, in the world of film and television. So Paul is his real name, and he's a super, super nice guy. I got to see him last week, and he's just doing so well. And I wish him the best. He's sort of winding down his WWE days. It's only so long you can do that. Those guys have a brutal, brutal schedule. Filming is tough, but it's a lot easier, I think, than the WWE schedule. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed shooting that, and hopefully I can work together with Paul in the future. I watched some wrestling, but not that much. Not much. It's not real. Someone told me that. I was like, what the heck? They know who's going to win? Well, with the stuff they do is amazingly athletic, but I was told that sometimes they know the outcome before it starts, and that just
Crushing dreams.
told me it wasn't totally real. But no, it's great. I don't watch that much stuff, to be honest. Yes, sir, Eugene, thank you.
Got a question back here?
Yes, sir. A University of Tennessee shirt. Now, what a surprise here in Knoxville.
You should come to a game. It's fantastic. We're honored to have you, Mr. Cain. I know you don't want to be overly critical, but I want to know, why do you think that Zack Snyder and some of the people that are doing these movies, because they've kind of flopped, why do you think they're so short-sighted and not using the actors from the shows when these shows have such a cult following and are fantastic? Like, they're not using Grant for Flash, you know, they're not using any of them. Why do you think that is? Because a lot of the fans, it's terribly upsetting to us, because we've come to love these characters just like we came to love you as Superman. And again, thank you.
Thank you. No, that's a great question. The same question I have for them. What the heck is going on? You know, the thing is, the truth is, the filmmakers and television people, they're almost separate entities. It's a strange thing. And so when a filmmaker gets on a film, they kind of want to have it be their baby. And they want no outside influences. They don't really care that much. That happens a lot of the time. I mean, let's do Star Trek, for example, when they brought Spock back, that was pretty cool. And that's a different, I think that was probably a different studio, and maybe they wanted to do that. You have to want to do that in order to make that happen. It would be not hard for them at all to bring the actors in for small roles or other things, just the way Stan Lee appears in everything. I love Stan, 90, 100 years old. Just, the guy has more energy until he falls asleep in the middle of the day. But if I get to be that old, and God bless him, he is just amazing. And he's so full of energy, it's incredible. And he's in every movie. But they could put the other actors in. I'm sure we'd all do it and have fun with it, because we sort of all get the joke. We're in on it. And I wish that were the case, but you know, directors are making their decisions. They're making their own movies, and I really can't speak to that. I would like to think that they would respond. I guess maybe if more fans spoke up and called in or put social media pressure on them, maybe they would.
The fans, they've been tweeting about it, and they express their anger. They just don't seem to listen. And because they're not listening, it's being reflected in the ticket sales and the reviews and such like that. Stan doesn't even have to watch Batman and Superman in order not to fall asleep. he can just fall asleep out.
I've seen it happen. He's just going along, signing it, also he just goes, you know. Okay, so what's going on? And he's refreshed. But once you're over 90, man, You win. You can do that. And I just, literally, if I were talking to him, hey, Stan, so this, that, if he fell asleep, I would just wait. And then just continue like nothing happened. I don't think he'd know the difference. Really, I wouldn't. Yeah, you know, so it's hard to say what those guys will do, you know, and what my guess is they'll look at it and go, okay, it's a dark world, and maybe it's not the best world for Superman or something like that, or the numbers weren't so great, so maybe we'll change it up. I got to be honest, I didn't see Civil War this year, and I heard that was very good. Was that good? Civil War was great? My favorite superhero movie of the year, bar none, was Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds just killed that. He was amazing. That was fantastic. And obviously, for some of you youngers, you haven't seen it, and you shouldn't yet, Superman. But from what I enjoyed about it is it had that sense of humor to it. It was at the same time funny, and it was moving, and it was all those different things that you can have. But it had a sense of humor, and there's really no humor in the Batman versus Superman. And you know, I like Superman to be a character of light. I like him to be, you know, a character of hope and goodness. And I just didn't feel that there wasn't a whole lot of light in that film. Not at all.
Got another question right here.
I want to change genres. I love the movies that you've made for the Hallmark Channel.
Thank you. I like those Hallmark movies. They're a lot of fun. Do I have plans to make more? You know, I sort of take it. Wow, you just jump right over that thing. Very superhero-like, sir. I enjoy those Hallmark movies. I've made a whole bunch of them, and I certainly hope to make a bunch more. They just feel good. They're good family movies, and I enjoy them. And my son can come on set. Well, before he was younger, and he'd come on set, and it'd be you know, he's older now, so he'd want to go to like Deadpool and stuff like that. Like, buddy, I'm not in Deadpool. And he's like, oh. So he enjoys it, but I enjoy making those family type movies. And you know, I watch a Hallmark movie. If I catch a Hallmark movie like midway, I'm just like boom, and I just watch it because I know it's going to be a happy ending. I know it's going to be a feel good, and I enjoy those. So hopefully I'll make some more. You never know. That's the life of an actor. You finish one job and you are now unemployed until your next. It's kind of terrible, really, but it's fun. You get to keep reinventing yourself. You get to keep working and making different stuff. So I'll certainly make some more, I'm sure.
Another question here.
Actually, I thought at first, you're so handsome. You have an age.
Just give her the mic and let's just call it a day. You're done.
Were there any roles that you considered and like turned down, or that you wanted and didn't get, or was you ever considered for Superman on the big screen?
Are there any roles that I wanted? Yes, a whole bunch of them, like a ton. It's difficult to say, you know, when you get on, there's not a lot that I've turned down. You know, you hear about the stories of like, you know, Tom Selleck turning down Indiana Jones and stuff like that. That was a bad one. No, there's nothing like that I've turned down that I really wish I hadn't. There's a number of roles that I got really close to getting that I didn't get, and those were, you know, heartbreaking. That happens all the time. But there's nothing that I look at and go, oh, gee, that would have changed my life and my career. My career has gone pretty much the way I wanted it to go, in the sense that, you know, I'm a father first. I'm a single dad to a 16-year-old, and I've tried to balance that work-life situation, and it's been difficult because you want to work and you want to do your projects, but if a movie works for 8 weeks in New Zealand, I'm not taking it. I won't even go up for it. And that's been the case for a long time. And now that my son's 16, it's kind of like, Dad, maybe you should go do a movie in New Zealand for a year. Leave me the keys, I'll be fine. So there's part of that to it. But there's, you know, that's just the life of an actor. There's something that you swing and you miss. And, you know, I do a movie like Out of Time with Denzel Washington, which I love doing the film. But it was 14 weeks, and you have to commit to 14 weeks on Denzel's schedule, not your schedule, because he made more money than me by a long shot. And he certainly just won Best Actor, and he's an unbelievable actor. So you work on that film for the opportunity to work opposite Denzel Washington, you know, and you've got 14 weeks, you just give up. You can't do anything else, you're not doing anything else, you're not really making any big money, but you know, you can do things like that, but it's hard to do when you're raising a family and trying to be a present father. So as it happens now, I can work a lot more. So I have 4 shows on the air now. I got 2 movies coming out. I got other things going on. So that it allows you to do a lot more. It allows me to be more of a workaholic than just a dad. Because I don't know if you have any 16-year-olds, or if you have that experience, but they don't hang out with you anymore. What the heck? I know. Seriously, it is a big No, he goes in his room and closes the door, and I go, okay. Then I bring him food. What? Do you want to eat? Oh, okay, thanks, Dad. Okay. That's about the length of some of our conversations. That's just what happens, I guess. And he's a young man. He actually just landed in Europe, where I'm headed tomorrow. He's with his cousin. They're probably having a blast. They probably don't want me to show up, but too bad. Dad's showing up. Yeah, so it's a work-life balance, really.
Another question here.
Hi, I'm Catherine from outside Philadelphia, and I have to say, first of all, I'm a really big fan of Lois and Clark. Like, it's kind of a problem.
No, it's not a problem at all, Catherine. That's not a problem.
And I was wondering, what is one of your most memorable moments from filming Lois and Clark, or like one of your most favorite episodes that you did?
Well, I could sit here for days to talk about that. One of my favorite episodes was, and I've said this before, is when Clark finally proposes to Lois, and she asks who's asking, Clark or Superman. I thought that was it's so magical. She sort of already knew the answer, and it was just this wonderful love story. And I loved that about it. There were so many times that were so amazing. I think about even the casting process, and finally the excitement for getting the job, and the absolute unknown of what is this going to be like when people like you as this character. It's terrifying, especially as a young man. I was 27 when I started playing Superman, which is the same age that Melissa Benoist started playing Supergirl. So, and she's a whole lot further along as an actor than I was. That's for sure. She's fantastic. It's just, there are so many moments. We made 87 hours of television, and each hour took at least 8 days to make. So you're just there for a long time. You become family, with the cast. You become so friendly and like a family, because you're spending 18 hours a day with everybody and the crew and everybody. So those are the things I miss. It's sort of that camaraderie, that little family that you have. We've had really funny moments, and there's a time they flew me directly into what they call a translite, which is like a big wall that's fake, but it's just like this thing that hangs down. They would fly me, and it looked like I knew what I was doing, but I was just at their mercy, and I was like, we're headed right for the thing. We had plenty of those and plenty of mishaps, but there's just so many. When I look back at that, I remember sometimes coming into like the daily planning, and going, I'm in my office, and it felt like home, and it was a really nice feeling. So more than any particular little instance, I remember that feeling. And it's not a problem. Keep watching the show. Thank you.
I'd say my favorite episode was somebody was standing with Lois and was like, Clark Kent, Superman, Clark Kent, Superman, Clark Kent. How can you not see this?
That was good. He added the very clear, duh. I thought it hit the point home.
Another question here.
Hello, Dean.
Hello, Michael. I know this is going to be a good question right up front.
Right.
I'm already dreading this one.
Now, getting back with Christopher turning 16, has he asked for the keys yet?
Has my son asked for the keys to the car? I spoiled my son, I admit it openly, because when I was 16, I didn't have a car, I promise you. And I had to ask for the keys. But my son, on his 16th birthday, I got him a car.
Nice.
I took his keys, don't get me wrong. He has to ask for the keys, but he got a car. He's so funny. He's like, you should get your car, I'll get my car, we'll go for a road trip. I'm like, buddy, that's really not what a road trip's about. I'm not supposed to follow you on a road trip, I'm supposed to be in the car with you. And he's like, no, you be in your car, I'll be in mine. I'm like, you want your independence, but not really, do you? Okay, so it's kind of a funny story. And he just sort of has that desire to be an independent guy, and that's great, and he should. You want to encourage that. It's a very thankful job being a parent. You're supposed to raise these children up to be independent of you, and then so they can survive on their own. But you don't want them ever to go on their own. It really sucks.
Oh, great job filling in for Billy, Access Hollywood Live.
Thank you. I did that. I hosted Access Hollywood Live all last week. It was
with
fun.
Billy leaving, any breaking news you want to give us? Or?
Like, am I going to host Access Hollywood Live? You know what? That was a really good gig. That was fun. You get to interview really interesting people, and you get to work really early, by the way, up at 4 o'clock in the morning there, which I kind of liked. Yeah, and so I was like, it's kind of good. And then I'm done by like 9 o'clock. I was like, and I'm finished, it's 9 a.m.? Wow, I could actually go shoot a movie or something now. It's a good gig, so I don't know, we'll see. Billy will give me the blessing, absolutely. Cain, take it! But you never know, I had a fun week doing it though. It was fun, thank you, sir.
Question over here.
Hi.
Hello, Sandy.
Hi. I was wondering, your decision to go to Princeton, I understand you passed on scholarships, but why Princeton out of all the schools? Did it have anything to do with the football history?
No. It didn't with the history of football. Princeton played the very first intercollegiate football game with Rutgers in 1869, I believe, which makes them the number one. The first football game ever played was Princeton and Rutgers, collegiately. I didn't go there just because of that history. I went there for the history of everything. To me, the best university in the world. I know. I think it's the best. It's mine. I loved going to school there. Growing up in California. I had this romantic ideal of the ivy-covered walls and institution of learning, and what a great thing to do. And growing up in Malibu, California, my friends were like, dude, let's go surfing. I was like, I want to read a book. What? Yeah. So it was just very different. And I was really inspired to go out there. So when I took my trip out there, my recruiting trip, I just fell in love with the campus right away. And I looked at the football program, and I knew I could be a player. I could make an impact right away. When I looked at Cal and Stanford and some of the other schools, it was going to be a tougher road. Not a road that I was afraid of, but I was also still going to be in California, and I kind of wanted to branch out and make my own way. I really, in retrospect, it was a much more intelligent decision than I could have ever known. Because I went there as a boy and I came out as a man. And that's really a big part of college. A lot of people even my own son is like, I'm not sure I want to go to college. And it's different these days. It's become a little bit different. So it's up to him if he wants to go. My decision was very clear though. It wasn't just because of the football program. It was a combination of things. The Ivy League you can't have scholarships. So I turned down a whole bunch of scholarships to go there. I was in a position financially, my father said, listen, if you want to go there, I'll pay for it. If you want to go somewhere else, take one of these scholarships, he'll support that as well. And it would be nothing for him. So that was a tough decision because he wasn't in the best financial situation for that, but he supported me. That's why I named my son after my dad. My dad stepped up. So I chose Princeton because it was the best university I could go to. I still think it's the best school in the world, undergraduate school for sure. And football, I was able to still make it to the NFL. I still had a great football career there. And then I was injured right away, and so then I had my education to fall back for the rest of my life, and that's really the important thing. Not to say that University of Tennessee is not a good school to go to, but and they would crush the Princeton Tigers. But there's 4,500 undergrads, maybe 5,000 undergrads at Princeton. It's a real tight-knit group, and so it was a great thing for me, perfect fit for me. I don't think my son's going to go in there, but I enjoyed it tremendously, and I like your Princeton shirt, by the way, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Got another question back here?
You got it, Ramey. You can do it. You can definitely ask the question. You can do it. I know you can. First of all, you look really cute in your Supergirl outfit. I gotta give that to you. Yes, you can.
In Lois and Clark, who is your favorite character, Superman or Clark Kent? Who do you feel free?
Oh, that's easy. Clark Kent. I really enjoyed, because in Lois and Clark, Clark was the main character. He was the guy. And then his mom made him a suit so he could go out and do good deeds and still come back and be Clark Kent. It was a very simple concept, a very simple setup, but it really worked well, and I enjoyed that. And it's different than the other incarnations of Superman. So Clark Kent was by far my favorite character to play. Also, I didn't have to wear the suit. And the suit is something, isn't it, my friends? Yes, it is. You know. We know. So Clark Kent, thank you, Ramey. Good question.
Another question here.
Hey Dean, I'm Jeremy from Cookeville, Tennessee. I just had a question. What kind of impact did the movie God's Not Dead have on you doing that movie?
God's Not Dead. I'll tell you what, that was a little tiny film. that Kevin Sorbo was producing and acting in, and they called me up and said, hey, you want to be in this film? I read it. I said, yeah, it seems like an interesting, good film. And we shot the film. It was great fun. And then when it came out, it just shocked me how well it did. And I think the film did so well because it's a Christian film, and what was so good about it is it didn't try to knock you over the head with the Bible. You know, you weren't preached to. It was a great story, and the young man Shane did a great job with it. It was a great story that pulled you in, and not every character was redeemed, especially mine. My character was not. My son goes to a Christian high school, and all he and his friends in school, everybody went to see the film, and they're like, dude, your dad's kind of a jerk. It's like, he's acting, okay, that's good. That's good. Watch this movie, he's a good guy in this. So doing a film like that was great. It was great, and it was fantastic. And you know, there's other Christian films and faith-based films that are a little more heavy-handed, and I don't think they do as well, because I don't think an audience, a film audience, wants to go be preached to. They want to go and experience something. And in God's Not Dead, that was a wonderful experience. It was great to see the kid hold strong to his faith and his values, and you love that kind of a story. So I was very happy to see the film. I mean, do so well. I was so surprised. You just never know when you get involved in a film whether it's going to be a tiny thing or a big thing, and that one turned out to be a big deal. So thank you for seeing that. Thank you.
Another question back here.
First, I have to say, Lois and Clark were my first shipper couple, so got me into shipping. And second,
excellent.
Talk a little bit about the difference you do when you have to do the shows, like when you did like Ripley's Believe It or Not, or some of the other stuff you're doing. How you handle that kind of like role where you just come in and you kind of lead into what's going to happen.
As a presenter, as a host. Well, look, you know, it's funny. Television. When I first started in television 112 years ago, it was you could be a television actor, you could be a film actor, but you kind of had to choose. You can do this or that. Nowadays, there are so many different stations. There are so many different places to put content. There's so much going on. You'll find that people are doing, you know, I personally have 4 different shows on the air. One of them I'm presenting, which is Masters of Illusion, which I think is a lot of fun. It doesn't take up a whole lot of my time. It's enjoyable. It's a good time. Ripley's Believe It or Not, same thing. It was educational and fun, and I produced that as well. I like to do a lot of different things, and you don't need to be pigeonholed. You know, you can be a writer, you can be a producer, director, actor, and act in 5 different things. The shows that I have on the air now, like a show like Lady Dynamite, which is on Netflix, it's funny. It's crazy, but it's funny. No, she's literally crazy. She has mental issues, but she makes fun of it in the comedy, and it's actually ridiculously funny. And you do something like that, it's completely different than doing Supergirl or doing, Hit the Floor, or whatever show it happens to be. So it's a lot of fun to be able to mix it up and do different shows. I enjoyed hosting. That's why I was doing Access Hollywood this week. That was just a lot of fun. You get to meet really interesting, smart people and talk to them. And I've been interviewed enough times to sort of know what it feels like to be interviewed. And if your interviewer is taking notes and really knows what they're talking about. So I just enjoy it. I enjoy all aspects. I like going on regular news channels and talking politics, which is not really usually that popular, especially in Hollywood. Thank you. That's just it's part of it. You become, you're an adult. You can sort of make your choices. I like to do a little bit of everything.
All right, Dean, we've got time for one last question.
Actually, I have 2, if that's okay. Hi, Dean, my name is Chuck. My wife and I have a few theories about your character, Jeremiah Danvers, on Supergirl.
Oh, please share, because I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you if you give us any hints, but is there any chance that Jeremiah could actually end up becoming Cyborg Superman? Secondly, had Lois and Clark gone on for a 5th season, any ideas as to what we might have seen from the show? At that point?
Okay, I'll start with the Lois and Clark question. We were going on, Lois and Clark was actually picked up for a 5th season, and we were going to go to work. And in the middle of the summer, I got a phone call from Tony Jonas, who was the president of Warner Brothers Television, and he told me that Terry was pregnant and unable to film season 5, and therefore, done. I was like, wow, freedom! No, it was, because you really work hours on that. I was excited, but I was bummed at the same time, because I wanted us to be able to go through a season knowing we might be finishing and be able to sort of bring everything to a culmination. And we never got to do that, so hopefully sometime in the future we'll be able to get to some sort of a reunion thing. And they've been doing a lot of that lately, so that would be a lot of fun to sort of catch up and find out how they are 20-something years later. That would be great. As far as Jeremiah Danvers goes, I'm in the dark. I really don't know what is going to happen. I think there's a very real possibility he could be Cyborg Superman. He could be a good guy, he could be a bad guy, he could be anything. They just cast Tyler Hoechlin? Anybody? Hoechlin? This dude named Tyler. They cast him as Superman and Supergirl, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does and how they use his character. And they've got 55 superheroes running around up there in Vancouver now, so it's going to be interesting to see how they use everybody. And I'm particularly interested to see what they do with me. But I've noticed that everybody they brought back that has sort of a superhero past has been very heroic and good. Even myself and Helen have been good. And Linda Carter coming back as the president is being a good character. So I don't know if they're going to turn any of us evil. And I really have no idea. Cyborg Superman would be kind of interesting, though, wouldn't it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Please put your hands together one more time. Thank you all very much. Very nice. Don't forget, you stop by his table, talk to him some more. He's going to be down there signing autographs. He's going directly over to the photo booth right now, so come get your picture taken. Once again, keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Dean Cain.